Hi YouTubers, Tidy Tango 1 coming at you here. A gentleman by the name on YouTube, Hyam, I think his name is. Yeah, he always does demonstrations and that of stoves, etc. Now here we are. I've just copped this right. This has just started a rolling boil now, and I'm going to take. Yeah, oh, that's my head. Right, I'm going to take that off now. This is with the Pathfinder stainless steel alcohol stove, this one, and apparently couldn't seem to find the sweet spot that Hiram says, but I think I've just found it, because this now is rolling boil, and this has taken 6 minutes to boil. That as a cupful there though, admitted it's only a cupful, but there we have it, and that's the flame. You can see the flame. Actually, I'll turn this light off. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. That should have picked it up all right. Let's put this lights back on. And what I've found is, let's dampen this out now. As I say, I'm like Hiram, I've got a lot of stoves and I play around with them. But when I'm not playing around with all my leather work, etc. Now what I've found is this little twirl weld stuff. This is what I use for a penny pot stove. This 12 stuff here, twirl weld, or rabbit wire, whatever you want to call it, for putting over the front of your rabbit cage. This is all I've used, and I've used it on numerous occasions. The beauty about it is you can cut it down at little chunks at a time, like, what is it, 5/8 there. Let's get it right. Yeah, or ½ inch, because it is ½ inch mesh stuff, but you can take it off ½ inch at a time until you get where you want to be. And I found that on this wire wants to be 10 inches long, so cut it off 10 inches long to the nearest square. There's an overlap of what, 1 square basically. I don't mind that. Then what I've done is I've measured it, and I'm going to just zoom this in for a moment so that you can see what it is I've done. I'll bring this up now so it's in shot of the camera. Where are we? Not too far. Sorry about that, just want to get it right for you. Now here's the ruler. And that is measuring exactly let's make sure, 1 inch. You can see that? 1 inch from the that's it. It's very hard to see that, isn't it? Let's see if I can do it with this one. Yeah, me dressmaker's one, that might show it up better. One inch, if you can see that. Which I thought, as Hiram says, it's a nice sweet spot. I thought, well, I'll try that. So I've done no more, and I've gone back out of my little stash room, got myself a bit of this wire. Oh, sorry, let's turn this back out for you, you're going to get confused now, aren't you? Sorry about that. Got a bit more of this stash wire, and what I've done is, as I say, that's cool enough now. I've made that, there we go, look, 10 inches. Now I'll let that cool before I put the lid on. You can get spray silicone to go in there to it stops the rubber cracking, but if you don't want to go down that route, get yourself some of that. Vaseline petroleum jelly. Good stuff that is. Now, where was I? Yes, all that is 3. It's just three little squares, you could say, or 1.5 inch if you like. But you've got to remember, where are we? Let's come back over. Oh, that was heavy. Then you've got a recess here. Don't forget this recess. So times you put that in that recess, you're down to 1 inch again, the sweet spot, from the jets to the underside of the pan. And I thought that was pretty good. What did I say? 7 minutes did I say? 5, 6, 7 minutes. I thought it was pretty good for that. And what I liked about it was when I looked at the plume underneath, it was very close. Because Hyam mentioned, cool, you're getting some plugs here tonight, Hyam, that the flame would it would come up, go in, and then come out. Well, this one virtually goes straight up. It goes straight up and then plummets out when it hits the bottom of the pan or the underside of the kettle. So theoretically I think that's a better idea, because you know you're getting the heat there. But in hindsight, looking at it on reflection, good stove, good little stove. As I say, I only got it come through today, and I was umming and ahhing it for months, and then I forgot about it, went on to something else. I thought, no, I will get one of them. So I managed to get one in the UK, which is brilliant. And the only problem I can see, or if that bothers some people, regarding it doesn't seem to plume out, very, very much. It seems to just go up from the jets and hit the bottom of the pan. Well, you get some of these, like these penny pot stoves and all that, you get them, they really do poof, come outwards, don't they? They come right out, then hit the bottom of the pan. But this, I think the reason that this acts in a different manner is because for one, it's a deeper pot. I don't think the circumference affects it that way, but I think personally, my personal opinion is, because it's a bigger pot, deeper, therefore you can't get, when the fluid's in there, it has a job to get a good combustion area before it can come out through the jets. So you're getting, it's like, you could say the easiest way to explain it is like on a gas stove, when you're boiling a pan in the kitchen on the gas stove, controlling the gas temperature up and down, and that to me I think is what's happening there, because you got it so deep down, the pressure between the liquid and up in between the two walls is not very great. But if you had a lower pan, as I said, like this one, you're going to get a greater pressure. So that's my philosophy on it, or theory on it, however you want to call it. But apart from that, as I said, I'm happy with it. Putting in a kettle of water for, a pot of water or cup of water for 7 minutes, I can live with that. It's no problem. It's just that I think the idea behind this one is you can fill it up, and you could say, well, if you put more fluid in it, you're going to get a much tighter combustion area. Well, yes and no, but it can only flame up where it is, according to where the level is of the fluid. But it was designed more to carry more fluid. I think this is what was it Dave Canterbury, is it? I think this is the idea. What his design was to get more fluid in it, so you don't have to keep carrying bottles around with you of meths in it, or whatever it is you want to carry around in it. So by having a bigger pot, and these do seal, but if you keep Vaseline on these lids and these rubber seals, when you screw it down, but make sure it is cold, otherwise it'll ruin the rubber gasket. And it does seal it, and I turned it upside down to make sure that the wick in there, I think there's a wick, had got the fluid right up to the top near the jet holes, and it didn't leak then. So I give it a thumbs up actually, because I think it's a good stove. So it's horses for courses, isn't it? All depends what you want. I mean, I went down the road of making the bigger square ones, these ones here. Excuse me. Put this in there. Bear with me. I'll put that in there. But you can see it comes much higher than this one. So you've got it's half a square higher. That's where that would sit there. So you've got two squares, a square and a half if you like. But you can either cut that square, half of that square off, and then the legs you could put downwards. And then you still got this nice flat base here to put your pot on. But I think that's pretty good. I'll stick with that one. You know, it still goes on there. Look, still sits on that pot quite well. You know, there it is sitting on the bottom, a lot lower than the one here. Some bloke did mention on there when he was doing it, why don't you cut just one row of holes off, and that'll bring it down to the, you know, the sweet time, which you can see on there. Where are we? It's not far out. Taking one hole off, just taking one hole out of there, that's all. Brings it down exactly to the same level as this one. Can't get that in there. But there, you see, you get my drift. That's where it goes. Too far over, anyway. Right, well there we go. I'm not going to bore you anymore. I think I've made my point or opinion of what I think of this lovely little stove. I don't like to leave them full up when I'm not using them. I will if I'm going out, or then yeah, I'll fill one up, screw the lid down, then I don't have to worry about filling it up, getting the bottle out of the bag and everything else. So I'll empty that into the bottle, and then I'll put the lid back on here. I don't screw the lid on mega tight when I'm not using it, when it's standing on the shelf or whatever, but just tight enough to so you don't lose the lid. You only do it tight when to keep the fluid in there, so that way you don't ruin the rubber seal as well. Right, I think that's it from me. Just a little pointer. When I was watching Hiram the other night, I thought, no, I'll have a go at that. So thank you, Hiram, for your little bits of tips and what have you. He is a good chap. You want to go over and see his channel sometimes. He's always experimenting on something or other, or someone's sending him something that says, Hiram, have a look at this, see what you think, you know, blah blah blah, see if you can get this going, or can you reduce this and make that. And he does play around a lot with stuff, like, which is great. Well, I'm retired now, so I play around with a lot of stuff. I'll catch you on the next one. I haven't done a video for a long time, so it'd be nice to put this one up and just to see how many people enjoy it. So I'll say goodbye, my friends. I'll catch you later on. Charlie Tango signing out.